Oh, here we go. Philip C. You're quick. A lot quicker than I expected. Hey Greg, looks like you're all on the ball tonight. Kind of shocked. Guess I've been getting used to everybody turning up a little bit slower during my daylight. This weather is too sticky. Too hot and sticky. Looks like we won't be doing gloves tonight. Damn. Oh well. Let's see now. I'm just going to rearrange things. Yeah, I think I'm good. Sorry it's not as bright as I would like it to be. Let's see if I can just knock that up actually a little bit. Back like yeah, that's grainy as hell. Yeah, I can't really push it much more than that. Otherwise it just blows out too much. Hey Leslie, been a while. Vince fell. And Alan. And of course CryJ. Alright, I've just got to get this iPhone 6 out of the way first before I get into the more interesting things. This one here is scheduled to be picked up tomorrow. And that's, well, it's already tomorrow here, Wednesday. Hopefully I won't have any surprises in here. Actually I should check, see that's off. Yep. It looks clean but it smells funny. I know this smell. That smell is usually dank water. It's not in the phone, but I think it's probably was on the carry case that they had it in. Just that fetid, sort of mouldy smelling water. The reason why I know it so well is because my fish ponds often smell like that when I empty them out and clean out all the scum. Anyway, so this hopefully is just a straightforward screen swap. And that'll get me warmed up. I had to do a fair bit of physical labour today. As a few of you probably know, the air conditioner blew up in the wall a couple of weeks ago. And today I finally pulled it completely out, took out the holder board that was in the window frame and put the old window back in. Well, there's no water damage indicators, so well, I can try if I can get those gloves back on again. Hey Wayne, smells like Teen Spirit. It's 21 past, so it's 12:21. Oh, that was a bit tight. I should get talcum powder or something for these. Well, whatever's the latest acceptable healthy option. Because I believe talcum powder is getting a bit of a bad rap now. I'm hoping after this that the iPhone 5C I'm having a look at, it might just end up being a TriStar, because I don't have any, when I plug it in, I get power response, but I don't get any communication going on to the PC. It just sits there and it hangs for about 2 minutes and then gives up. So there could be a secondary issue in there, but initially it hopefully is a TriStar, just to get us warmed up. Come on, out you come. I don't mind doing these screen jobs. Looks like they are my bread and butter. The sort of thing you can do mindlessly and still make money. Well, I've been looking at a lot of the cell phone repair discussion groups on Facebook, and over there in the United States and other populous places like United Kingdom or whatever, can't believe the amount of margin that a lot of people don't make. I mean, I see there's some people just relying on making profit through selling back the screens or refurbishing the screens. It's like, no way in hell I'd do that. It's like, that's not a living. That's poverty. Ooh, someone left something in there. Someone left the... So does this mean this is a non... It looks genuine, so what's that from? Well, maybe it's not. Ah, I've got a cool breeze coming through now. That's good. Making a good quid out of repair. Yeah, I am. Listen, my general rule is to always make enough that I can buy a replacement screen if I manage to botch this one up. That's particularly important for things like iPhone 6S Pluses and things like that. Why does this feel different? You ever get it sometimes where you're doing a job that you've done hundreds of times before, and then for some reason you just... something feels different and you don't know what. Then you get paranoid about everything. What is the deal with people leaving the flap above the metal plate? I've seen that happen a few times. I don't get it. It's like a nice way to put pressure on the back of your LCD. Come on. I have a feeling it's someone did it accidentally and then went, oh well, it didn't kill it, I'll just keep doing that. Rather than taking that 1/10 of a second extra to tuck it under properly. I had heard some flexes are a little thicker and wouldn't sit under the plate. But in that case, you probably should get a better supplier of screens. I've got something floating on my moustache. God knows what that was. Never mind. I can barely properly see what I'm doing. My eyes aren't exactly the best at focusing at this distance. Fortunately, it's all by feel. Well, mostly. It's kind of like parking. Just back up until you hear the crunch. Okay, what have I missed on chat? Nothing. Is the stream even going? I don't know where my... Oh yeah, there we go. I see Chris Long finally came out of hibernation and put up a stream this morning. Unfortunately, I only just barely saw the last 10 minutes of it. It was unfortunate. It's always good to watch Chris Long streams. Usually something I learn. It's certainly a convenient way of picking up a lot of experience without having to expose yourself to the risk. Oh, come on. So does anyone out there still do the dreaded glass window repair, like where people can watch you repair the phone? I don't think I could ever have done that. The customer watching. Okay. The 5C, most common repair of the clock issues. Alan, which clock are you referring to, and what sort of symptoms do you experience with the clock issue? Hey Paul, nice to see you. Were you there this morning, Paul, on Chris's stream? I can't recall. I was too asleep. Wayne, on average, I'll probably get about 3 a day, which isn't too bad considering the tiny size of this town. But it's never consistent. It's usually a case of you will get 6 or 7 in a day, and you'll get a few days like that, and then you'll get a week of nothing. And during that week of nothing, of course, you start to fight with your own internal demons, start wondering whether you're in the right business, what have you done, how are you going to afford the... Yep. There goes a truck carrying horses. Yeah, so the quiet weeks are never much fun. If I was a smart person, I would use those quiet times to do things like preparing the workshop, getting screens prepped, like pre-build screens, so that I can, when there are rush times, I can quickly pop them on rather than having to build them from scratch. Yeah, just things like that. But no, instead just sit there and you chew on your fingernails instead until the rush comes. And I've got a clock ticking on me at the moment now. I've got about 12 to 18 months. And then I need to make sure I'm in a position where I can go to the bank and get myself a home loan and a home. Are you popping out? Are you popping out? Why are you doing that? Oh, I see why you're doing that. Yeah, this has had a nice bend in it. Let's see if you guys see that. This is like trying to fly the Apollo 13 backwards. Anyway, you can see there's a bend in there, so I'm not going to try and flatten that out. I found with bends that go along this way, every time you try to flatten them out, it just causes more dramas than not. So I'll just tell the person that they need to keep that in a proper case. Oh, we've got an Apple logo, so that's good. Oh yeah, it would have been late last night for you, Paul. Yeah, roughly 12, 14 hours ago. No, yes and no, Paul. It's living in the house of my in-laws. Well, where did that? No. And we've been here for a fair while, and it's been all good. But yeah, the years are rolling on, and it is time I sorted things out. Mostly I've been digging myself out of a big hole the last 7 years, and now that that's pretty much happened, it's time to find a better place. Okay, well that's all working. So I'll just notify the customer that they do have that bend there and that they should just get themselves one of those perimeter silicon cases and they'll be okay. Everything else, longitudinally, it's actually quite straight down here, so that makes it a bit more interesting. Put the screen in. Yeah, there's definitely it's definitely got that annoying smell on that screen. What job is this? 2709. Alright. Hey Joshua. There's a tiny piece of plastic that I don't want there. Alright, let's have a look at this 5C. I'm not sure what I'm looking for on this. I guess we'll find out. The screen's messed up, but it does work. It gives me the Apple logo for about 2 minutes and then gives up. I always feel like I'm shucking oysters when I'm doing this. Okay. Yeah. So I'd say my first blind thing to do will be just to change out TriStar and see if that gives me communication back with the USB. Actually, probably the more prudent thing to do would be to put a different flex on there, new dock flex. Not much point changing TriStar if it's just the flex. Be a nice waste of time. This one came in several months ago, and I had to chase up the client a fair few times, and in the end they've simply just said to me, nah, keep it, it's yours. So that's another nice one for myself. New house or same town. I've got a pretty good thing going here in this town, and once I get the mail orders up and running, it'll be good. Plus, at least for the next 5 years, be in this town. I do want to eventually move to a town called Townsville, and where the Powerpuff Girls live. It's a really nice city, but yeah, that's a lot more expensive there. The usual house over there is around about 350 to 450,000, so it's not as bad as Sydney pricing, pardon me, or Brisbane, but it's certainly not cheap either. Particularly if you want something with a bit of decent land, even if it's out of town. Try to get 1/4 of an acre is near impossible. Alright, I'm going to get a replacement flex just in case. I suppose the smart thing for me to do in this workshop here is to move all my stock into here. Just forth all the time. Okay. The flex must work at some level at least, because I am, what am I saying? When I plug the power into the lightning port, it does fire up. Let's put this back on here. Come on. Yep, one of those days where the old fingers can't find their way into the right slot. Come on. Go west. I'm not going west, hell no. All that's out there is Greenvale, Mount Isa, Not unless you go about 5,000 k's west and you end up in Perth and whatnot. That'd be nice. Though if I was going to do that sort of distance, I'd probably go to Tasmania, to be honest. I do like Tasmania. Nice and cold. I've had enough of the hot, dusty stuff. Lived up in Northern Territory for long enough. Don't really care to repeat that too much. And guess who hasn't got his... Where's my lightning cable? There it is. Hey, Jerry Colour hair? Calgary. Oh, you're an asshole. I'm surprised you didn't say Cupipedi. Yeah, wrong port, you idiot. Okay, so we got the logo comes up. Yeah, what's snow? Yeah, Paul, that's why I won't move for probably 5 years at least. I'll try to get all the mail order systems up and running to make sure that mail order makes up a good 80% plus of my income. I figure within 5 years there probably will be someone else coming into town that will start doing this sort of thing. There's already quite a few students at the local schools that I know are doing screen replacements and things like that. So it's only a matter of time. No need to pay for heating in hot areas. No, that's true. In winter the power bills are very minimal, but come summer they're quite tragically high. Like my usual 3-month summer power bill is around about 1,500 to 1,600 Australian dollars, which is 1,300 US dollars, I guess. And we do not have communications here. I'm just looking at the system logs, and I've got nothing. So it's not the dock. And as we can see, it's just blacked out, and it hasn't gone to DFU mode or anything like that. It's just, and now it's come back. So I don't exactly know what's going on. I'll just unplug that. The lack of communications is why I'm thinking it might be TriStar related. Since that's easy enough to do, we'll have a look. I'll get the board out. Sniff around. Hopefully I can make a working phone out of this, because I've got a person I'd like to give a phone to. Since I've got a truck going off with its oh no, it's a helicopter. That's not the good helicopter around here. That's the medical evacuation helicopter. Especially at this time of night. Oh, and I spent some time and cleaned up all my links and product details, and things I use and things everyone else uses on the my website. So if you go to the link in the descriptions below, the repairs link, that will show you all the stuff that I'm using, like the headset and the camera, the Barlow, yeah, just all those little things, the adapter. If you're going to go and get one of these cameras, then just save yourself a whole lot of headache and go spend the extra bit of money and get the proper adapter first up. It's more compact, does the job very well, and saves you going insane. Alright, this board can just about come out. Let's get the antenna off it. Come on. What are you doing? I cannot see what I'm doing there. So, it's time for the microscope. Switch over. Beautiful. Oh wow, this one's gunked up with a lot of holding glue. explains why I couldn't get it off. Actually, I don't need this anymore. Well, it's clear to you guys, but for some reason I'm feeling a bit blind here. A bit better. Let's see if we can see anything obvious straight up. Yeah, that's interesting. Not a good sign. Looks like this one's had some serious physical abuse. You see how that's cracked away. It's not good. So it's probably not. We'll see what we can do. Hey, Peter Campbell. Wayne, what town you in? I'm in a town called Charters Towers. It's about 130 kilometers inland, sort of southwest from Townsville. Siki, we get charged around about 27 cents per kilowatt hour. And during the summer, I'll use 40, maybe 50 kilowatt hour a day, keeping this place cool. We have changed around the house though this season, as part of people coming back, and hence why I want to get moving out of here. We're now living in half the house, so hopefully the air conditioning situation may be a little more efficient. The best thing really I should be doing, or that should happen, is we should put 5 kilowatt hour up, not kilowatt hour, 5 kilowatt or more of solar panels on the roof. The roof is big enough to handle it easy, and we don't even really need a power wall at this point, but if we just have those solar panels directly run the air conditioners, along with the fact that they'll be shading the roof as well, it'd be a pretty big win. Trouble is, it's like a $5,000-6,000 upfront cost, and because we are not likely to be buying this place, then obviously I'm not inclined to spend that money. Yeah, Greg, I noticed Chris was a weird sort of crackling kind of noise. Something is in my. I genuinely. I think I've gunk in my eye or something. Because I can't see properly out of one. And am I right? Left is good. Right's just gone blurry to hell. Alright. And let's see there. Okay. Shield off. because you're waiting for the drop with the hot air, and it just doesn't happen as quickly as you expect. That's because with some of them in their position, they're holding. There's another one. They are holding on to the board. Make sure we take this off because the hot air will make a mess of that. Let's have a look under there anyway. I really don't know what that is. Let's have a look at our compass, see if that's any good. Other than the fact that it's got a shiny ball in there, it seems fine. Yeah, I have a horrible feeling that this is probably going to be a fractured, badly fractured something. Was it junk? Right, let's get the shield off. Let the games begin. Oh, now that I've got this, now that I'm looking at it from a distance, oops, I can definitely, you can see it. See it's been folded just along there. Chance of success, very minimal. Still, we'll have fun. We'll swap out that TriStar just for the hell of it. Alright. What camera adapter and Microsoft? Jerry, yeah, what CryJ says, just, yeah, go look at the repair items, they're all in there. You must be using not too efficient. Siki, the house is very large. There's like about 7 or 8 rooms in this half of the house, but the main problem is the construction of the house. It's just single solid block, 220mm thick exterior with absolutely no insulation. About 2 years ago I put insulation into the ceiling, where I paid someone to do it because I'm not touching that stuff. Just the fiberglass bats, and that's helped a bit. And also there's gaps around everything. The windows aren't sealed because most of the house is I'd say about 80% finished from perhaps 20 years ago, and so there's a room is not truly sealed, and so if you run the air conditioning, you're fighting the fact that the walls are just letting it turns into a kiln. There's no other word for it, it's just a kiln. First 2 or 3 days of summer you're okay because the walls haven't absorbed everything, and then after that it's just dreadful until you get to the end of summer. The easiest solution would be to put cladding on the outside walls, the non-flammable stuff obviously, and that cladding, man, my finger's burning. The cladding, along with the air gap between the cladding and the block walls, that would then significantly reduce the amount of heat getting in here. This is going to drop any second. It's going to behave a little bit weird because of that bend in the... Come on, drop already. Good. But I must admit, the AC units themselves aren't the greatest. We mostly have had wall units but we are starting to put split units in now, which obviously run a lot better. The upside of the splits is also we can put them on a cheaper tariff, a cheaper electricity rate. But the most ideal thing would be change to splits and change to solar panels, and then later on have something like a Tesla Powerwall and just get completely off the grid. Okay, I'm just gotta get this in focus. There we go. And that's completely not in focus. There we go. Okay, now remember, this thing has been bent. This is our TriStar right here. And I'm just going to see if we can. Is that it? Just going to zoom in a little bit. Get us some. Yeah. Looking to see if I can spot any kind of fracturing, cracks, things like that. Hello. What are you? What happened to you? Was that me? I must have done that. I don't recall it. When I was taking this off. Although it looks like it's been pushed down really aggressively. If you have a look in there, if you can see how it's been sheared off there. So it's possible that the person who assembled this got a little aggressive. Maybe that was caused by them, but I'm more thinking it was probably me. I said I didn't feel it, and I can't say I've ever really done something like that before. Always the first time. Okay, we'll put that back on before we do anything else. The trouble is the... goddamn. So easy to lose these little parts. If I bring the hot air near this, it's going to be a goodbye part. It's not going to see that ever again. It gets hot in Perth, up to 45 in summer, but we don't get the humidity. Wayne, that's the other thing is, yeah, the weather around here has really changed a lot in the last decade. This used to be a good swamp cooler place, but not anymore. Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to have to put the fume filter on. You guys will have to deal with that. Hey, Chris. Yeah, it's Sicky. That shield drop method. You can thank Chris Long for that, because it was him who I saw do it. And ooh, you look like nasty as hell, you do. But maybe you're not. Maybe you're not really anything wrong with you. You're just nasty looking. That looks a little sus. I don't even know what that is. But since it's a big one, we'll have a look at it. Yeah, you're not happy. By the way, Chris, someone mentioned that you're looking for the microphone and all that. It's in the description thing. Okay. I don't know what that capacitor is off the top of my head. Someone want to tell me? Because that's shorted, but then if it's on a high current rail, then it might not really be as short. That there bothers me, but it could just be... Okay, it's just a blemish. I was worried it was some sort of buckled fissure crack sort of thing. Yeah, let's go back. That looks seriously nasty, that. Yeah, Chris, there's no communication on the lightning port. It'll show the Apple logo for about 2 minutes and it'll shut down, and that's it. I haven't yet put a current meter on it to even check. It just powers off, no recovery mode. It'll come straight back up to the Apple logo again. Pardon me. But I'll probably get this sucker off, and that's big enough that I can probably... I'm not game to do the knockoff, flick-off method on that. I'm probably just going to put some leaded solder on it. Maybe I can do the full blob. Wrong tweezers, Drongo. Yeah, you're reluctant. I don't really want to bring hot air in here. Oops, not watching what I'm doing. Almost. Yep. And someone's going to tell me that was actually a inductor, though it's pretty unusual that size. Then again, maybe not. Oh. Have to do it the hard way. Pulling up schematics. I'm an idiot. That was a coil. Crap. L6, L9RF. God damn it. Hey, Johnny Lation. Oh well. I'll just have to pull that off a dead board, because that one would have been well and truly cooked. That's why I should have checked before I took it off. You're a 5S. Actually, I'll just check. Yeah, yeah, I know, it wasn't the coil. It was my mistake. I thought it was a capacitor based on its colour, because it was all weird. And I was wrong. L9, RF, open. Just going to see if the 5S is the same. Idiot. I'm just checking things for when I come back to that eventually. Two and a half microhenries. Two and a half microhenries, alright. Okay, for when we get back to it, the 5S is the same one. So it's all good. We'll worry about that later. Okay, let's get back to boot. Well, I'm only going to take this off because there's actually a lot of weird stuff going on there. Oh, yeah. Chris, I don't know if you were here when we had a look at it, but the board has actually been bent quite severely. Hey, bit repairs? No. Alright, let's get this TriStar off. Because TriStar is the perfect please bro. And you're out of here. Where'd it go? Well, a lot of things. Yeah, but on the board near the PMIC. So, not exactly the greatest of places. Well, we don't know if it's going to be the TriStar in this case. We're just having a shot at it because it's easy. It's a cheap sort of universal attempt. Particularly if you got some symptoms looking like it. Now, where's my parts? Laptop parts. Client parts. Nope. Client body parts. Nope. Yeah, I know. Pristine white legs. Shouldn't have moved things around this afternoon. What the hell are my phone parts? Out there they are. TriStar is the oil change of the iPhone. Just do it since I open. Hey, Pianov. Well, I think the problem isn't so much the TriStar itself, but rather the way that Apple has integrated into the board, because you've got the 5-volt USB line coming straight from the Lightning port, and there's no protection at all on it. It's just like, here you go, TriStar. You can take whatever we're sending you. Whatever's been put on that port. Okay, I've got a high pad in there somewhere. Where are you, high pad? There you are. I mean, I've found TriStar's not overly fussy, but it's nice to. What the hell are you? Loose ball. Don't do it with the tweezers closed. Do I always use the A3? Yep. Though I will, my next order I'm just going to get 610 A3Bs, which work perfectly fine. Let's see. And the cost of them has now become no different to the 1610 A3. So it makes sense just to get the 610 A3Bs. Oh, you bastard. This schematic that I'm looking at does not have the orientation marks on it. It's okay. Fortunately, I've got another one. And it is where I thought it was. I was being pedantic, but better to be pedantic than have to take it off twice. Oh, I know what's going on here. That's alright. Chris, I don't know if you've noticed on your hot air station, but if it goes into full sleep mode or resting mode, when you take the reworking and turn that off, when you switch it back on, even though it remembers the temperature, mine flips back to yeah, I'll talk to you in a minute. What's going on here? This hasn't moved. There we go, she just sat down. Yeah, like I set mine at 42% air. And then if I switch it off reworking, then come back, it'll jump back up to 52% every single time. Yeah, Alan, the iFixit images are really good for that. But I do have the schematics here, and I know with the 5C, even though the main one that I have is lacking the orientation, I've got another one that is just one page and it shows me the orientation, so it's all good. Okay. Oh, thanks, Greg. Alright, that looks like a right mess. Oh look, bit of cat hair. Or is it? Yeah, it's one of my cats. God knows how they got there. Well, we'll give it a whirl. Oh, and I never remember what pin that is, so I'll just do it in the case. Switch back over. I probably should check for current consumption before I do this. It's getting late, I'm feeling tired, I'm probably going to make mistakes. This is my phone now anyway. Oh gee, that hot air is getting annoying. Okay. So we kind of killed it too bad, still got an Apple logo. Come on. Finish already. Yeah, that's better. Looks like it's probably doing the same thing. I suppose I'll see if it's got any communications now at least. No, nothing. Oh, is that fellow that, yeah, we're doing the same thing. Is that fellow who went over to China and built his own iPhone, even though it's like just basically a parts grab, and then did all the mods? Yeah, I think, no, there we go, cycling again. I mean, it's an interesting mod. Obviously, it's probably not going to take off as a general rule. But I haven't watched it, but I just know about it. Chris, you're out there? Anyone want to make recommendations on what we've got here? Because I don't know what I'm looking at now. This is a bit of a strange one. I suppose I'll put the current meter on and see what's going on. It does boot up from TriStar, from Lightning port, so that's a good sign. At least we know TriStar is seemingly functional. So let's have a look at what the current demands are. Yeah, I think it was the 7. But it's interesting to note that Samsung's now moving to remove the jack. So I'd say that pretty much the days of the jack are fairly much over. Okay. Okay, we're not drawing any current. On start. So let's see what happens. $200, $300, $200. $350. Alright, seems like it's getting to around about this. Oh no, we're down to 200 again. 210. 200. It's moving around. It's not stuck in a steady state. We're back up to 350 now. Yeah, we're holding through, back down to 200. It's almost like, let's see if it goes back up to 300 again. It's almost like it's trying to stage, jump to the next stage. Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. But it's certainly not static. It's, okay, we're down 120, 100, and we just lost back to 0. So, yeah, I'm not sure what to think of this. It's like it's going through a whole bunch of stuff, but then gives up. There's no significant current draw at any time. Like, it doesn't peak out to 2 amps or anything like that. It's, I don't know. It's like it's looking for something, and then either can't find it, or gets no response, and it starts to shut down. Let's have a look over the board again. Wonder if PMIC popped. You can press on the board while trying to boot. No, I suppose I could. I'll have a look under the microscope again. Maybe there's something I can see. Yeah, saving a couple of cents on devices per device definitely does add up. I remember one person when I was young who made their first million in a really neat way. Basically, they ended up, this is back in the late 80s, early 90s. I can't remember exactly when. But they ended up just negotiating a deal between a toy store, a toy chain rather, and a bicycle manufacturer. There was bits of solder jammed in there. And with the negotiation, they basically ended up just taking $1 per bike extra for themselves, while giving the manufacturer the choice of making whichever ones they wanted, and a few other conditions anyway. But so basically, the person picked up $1 per bike that was traded between the two companies, the toy store and the manufacturer. There is a lot of solder just floating around here, like here, and that's. Try it's not from all there. Or maybe it is actually. Maybe that's our problem. Maybe we should just... ultrasonics probably not going to help there. And I thought, well, that was pretty damn smart. It's using your head. So they picked up their million or so from the sale of all those bikes. So if you can be in the right place at the right time with and negotiate the right thing, then yeah. Or you can slave away all your life. Your choice. I wonder if the problem is just one of these solder... Why didn't I see these before though? Maybe something with solder bridging. These here bother me. I don't think they're all that important, but they just bother me. They look a little charred, a little upset. There's another one there. Look at that. Where'd it go? There it is. So that's definitely not from me. At least I'm going to tell myself that. Ah, where's my surgical knife? And all over here. So something... Oh yeah, look at under here. Yeah. Look at all this. Zoom in. You guys see that? Yeah, you can. It's like all this, and over here, it's like all this splatter there, the splattering everywhere. Look at this. Something just completely crapped itself. Not really sure how I'm going to get all this out. Of course, another theory I've got is that maybe it was from the shields, maybe there was loose material there, and then when I scrubbed with the toothbrush, it caused it to be picked up and distributed. Mind you, a lot of This sort of stuff I would not expect from the toothbrush. This looks like it's been in there the whole time. There's no way the toothbrush caused that. And here... Yeah, you're right. It's like solder slag. Yeah, there you go. It's just, as I said, solder slag. So it could be that when the board got folded, something really didn't like that and just spat out a heap of stuff. But I mean, it does look similar to this sort of thing, but I don't think it's all that. No, look at this, all over here too, and under there. Thank goodness the... Actually, there's a... What's going on there? What are we in? What is this? This is the RF section. It's amazing this thing didn't actually just go nuclear. Oh, welcome back, Chris. Well, Chris, we're on a solder slag splatter discovery here. We're just seeing this stuff everywhere. Yeah, like that. Any splatter on the back shield? Let's have a look. There's certainly discoloration, but I mean, you'd expect that. It's hard to separate what was because of me. So look at this here. That there looks like a component outline they got nice and hot. Okay, so where does that apply to? Trying to line that up. So the middle of the... Oh yeah, here we go. There's a bit of slag in there. Yeah, that's embedded in there. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and then middle of the hole. So 1, 2, 3, middle of the hole, which puts us... So we've got 1, 2, 3, middle of the hole, U. Yeah, let's check the resistance on that. Yeah, Chris, I was thinking maybe it was the low melt from the shield, but it's everywhere, and I mean really everywhere. And the shield came off pretty clean. And I've never seen it before. Not to say it wasn't, but there you go. Give me an alternate function. Thank you. Yeah, you're good. There's a chip out of that one. Here we are. I'm now going through and doing, because I want my doctorate, we are going to do, let's check all of the millions of capacitors on a board. It's the only way to get your iPhone doctorate. Yeah, of course you are. You're an inductor. No, I'm off screen right now. You almost got me. I don't think it'll be CPU or RAM because it is booting. To your iPhone doctorate. That kind of looks like there was liquid there. But it's not. It's around this coil area here. Can't really tell because I've already done stuff here, so that's my own dumb fault. Oh man, to focus. Why don't you people tell me that? Here we go. Allowed to wear a mask while operating on phones. Ah, jeez. Well, I think I've cleared out the worst of that slag stuff. Let's give it another shot. No, I just pushed that up under there. No. You're an idiot. How the flippin' heck am I gonna get that out? Might have to just leave it. Yeah, I was about to say, no biggie. It'll probably come out in an ultrasonic and land somewhere else. Blimmin' hair's getting in my face now. I need to get a haircut. Badly. Alright, well, like I said, slag's off, so let's try beat her up. If it does the same thing, then we know it wasn't the slag. Alright. Getting late here. What is this? 1:40. Yeah, getting close to bedtime. I'm supposed to have been working on a couple of other jobs. So this is why I did the boring screen replacement first. So that come 11 o'clock in the morning and someone hits the doorbell and I'm still snoring, then I can just quickly get up and... Actually, I can leave that off. I don't need that off. Yeah, I can just quickly get up, hand them the phone, take their money, and be happy. What about it being something in the case frame? That thing that was bent in the case? Oh, you mean actually in the actual plastic housing? Yeah, possibly, but not likely. But, I mean, you got to try all these things. Use a vacuum cleaner to suck it out. Yeah, that one's not going to likely work, I have a feeling. You just won't be able to get the level of suction down at those microscopic areas. Ultrasonic would probably be the best. What did I do with the paper towel? Oh well. Looks like it's still doing the same thing. Yeah, it's possible it's that, like static. As there's no biggie if it's if I can't fix this, I can just use it for spare parts. I might take the TriStar back off and reball it straight away. At least that way, I can put it in my little bag of pre-used TriStars. Pardon me. Yeah, well, it's done the same thing. I got no communications. It could be something as simple as a bad I2C resistor, pull-up resistor even. Although that would probably manifest in a different way. Chris would probably know. Oh, I'm an idiot. Forgot to take the battery off first. Oh. And I am working on my iPhone board view project. That is where I am going to create board view files for iPhones. It won't be as extensive as ZXW in terms of the number of phones they cover, but I figure if I can get the process rolling and I can get everyone to contribute, just adding their little bits and pieces, then we may have a way of, as a community, producing our own board view files so that we're not dependent anymore on other people. I do have one ecstatic, but in the last decade I've probably only found it useful 4 or 5 times. And most of the time that was when I was explicitly using it for signal work. Since then, barely touched it. Yeah, maybe something new like a 4-channel Rigol 200 megahertz or whatever, 10 megasamples a second. But for daily stuff, I don't know. I sort of fear that if I'm getting to the point where I need to pull out the oscilloscope, it's probably already gone too far. I might drop off the other shields. Could be something under there, not likely, but we'll have a whirl. Yeah, if you're doing the electronics development, you use it all the time. That's exactly right. And that's what I was doing. I was doing all the design work. But when it comes to actual diagnosis stuff, yeah. Oops, sorry. It's just, you gotta get it set up and then find the right place to put your probes, or even just getting test points. So, particularly at these scales. I don't know why I'm caring about this. Oh, idiot. I'm going to do a video on some tests I want to try with regards to different types of heat sinks for when we're doing hot air rework. and seeing what's myth and what's actually legitimate. Because I know there's a lot of, some people swear by Captain Tape, others don't. Some people use coins, others don't. And I want to sort of find out for sure, find out for real, what truly works and what is more in the mind. Oh, that's great. That's great, Mr. Captain. Just fly off. Why not? Ow. Yeah, fine. Fine. Okay, first thing I can notice is the shield's just come off. It's got a burn blemish on it. You can see the bluing of it, even though the camera is... Yeah, you can see it there. And that corresponds to... what? What? Over here. Oh, we'll get the CPU one off now too. Wow, it's hot. Could you use the oscilloscope to compare ITC line data look faults? Yeah, I mean, if you had a... well, I wouldn't really call it an oscilloscope that does that, but yeah, the logic analyzer will. Or you could use a bus pirate. That'll work. Yeah, if you get a bus pirate, it'll do the job nicely. Yeah, there's a lot of... Oh, it's probably because I've used the... change... Doesn't really make a lot of sense, but this is where all the heat blemish on the shield was, and that really doesn't make any sense. Oh well. You shouldn't really be causing any of that drama. Not really a lot to say. Overall, it's a bit of a messy board. Oh, hello. Hello. I've been fooled all this time. Didn't check the basics. We've got long screw damage. Fine, no luck with that ZTE. Never did not come good. And I don't have another one for reference, so I'm kind of up the creek. Yeah, Chris is getting all excited now. Ah! God. That hurt. Never mind. Right. I never wanted kids anyway. Jeez, that hurt. No. Is that really enough to cause long screw damage? Lefty. Yeah, that held its heat a little bit longer than I thought it would. Yeah, I don't think that's even... I don't think that's even gone through. It's more just... Is there anything running under there? See if it's spongy. Yeah, good point. Get out of here, knife. It's one thing to have a hot screw going through my pants. I don't need a knife. No, it's not really spongy. So much more fun than watching Lewis. I don't know. I find Lewis entertaining. Is that because Lewis doesn't really hurt himself anymore? Much. Man, that's... I can still feel the burn. Should be all ground on top layer. That's what I was thinking. Because the problem is, what if it's crushed something on the layer underneath? But I really would have my doubts on that. More likely we've got a situation where the board's just been flexed too much. Some ball is cracked or whatever. The end. I mean, I know I should use these as opportunities to try and learn more things. At the same time, look, I'm creating solder stuff now. I'll tip that out. Shards of solder. I don't really think that's enough to warrant being long screw. Yeah. The board itself looks pretty straight. Ah, this hair is killing me, man. Fly away hair. Let's come up a bit. That's good. And there's, yeah, I suppose there's, or is that just part? Oh no, it's the sim tray. So there's a fair bit of flex bend there, but then yeah, it was the sim tray just pushing things up. I still don't get why there is a burn mark or heat mark on the inside of the shield in this area here. I really don't understand it. So it doesn't seem like it's shorting out. It's just getting to a point. It's not getting an answer from something, and it's giving up. But we already know we've got Apple logo and everything like that. So any heat? No, no heat issues. It boots fairly normally. As it, yeah, sort of goes 150, 200, 350, 450, back down to 200, things like that. It really isn't showing any signs of anything popping up. Firephone, this is just a silicon cooking mat. It's the same one that, same sort of thing that Chris uses. It's just I got mine as a grey one. His is red. Or is it pink? I don't know. Yeah, I decided I'd go with grey. I mean, I could just throw this in the ultrasonic. See what happens. But I don't really think it's going to be anything like that. It doesn't look like it's going to be corrosion related at all. It's something in this area, I'd say, this sort of area got cracked. So, I mean, this cap here has got that chip out of it. Will it go into DFU? So try... Well, honestly, Chris, the user doesn't care. They've given it to me anyway. I've had this phone here since July. I'm trying to contact them the whole time. It is possible the capacitance on that chip has now dropped off, but it looks like just a decoupling cap, so I'd rather not really worried about it. What are they? I'll check what their resistance are. $60K, $60K. Well, they match up. What are you? Half a K. Not sure. What are you? You're going to ground. Find out what you are. DFU resource, see if it fails. Alright. Well, I can try to see if I can induce it into DFU mode just here. Because I don't have a Windows machine here. And if we don't have any success there, then I'm pretty much just going to have to wrap up for the night. Try and get some... So, looks like there's... Yeah, this is a weird phone. There's like some level of liquid damage down here. I've got another case. Where are you, 5Cs? There you are. Okay, interesting. The batteries from one phone and the cases from the Stoner Brothers. That's funny stuff. What's we got here? Yeah, this is one I should be trying to find out what's wrong with it. Well, we'll try the Stoner Brothers one. I don't know who actually owned this phone. It just turned up to me one morning at Christmas with two young fellas at my door, giggling to each other. Asked me if I could fix it. I was like, yeah, probably not. That was after I tested it. And then they just walked away. They didn't ask for the phone or anything. They said something, and I think they might have even said, oh, how much do you want to pay us anything for it? In hindsight, that's what I think they said. But at the time, I wasn't too sure, and I just sort of went, this phone's no good. Go in the bin. Or something to that effect. And they seemed a little bit put out, and they walked away without taking their phone with them. So I went, alright, I'll keep that. And I never saw them since. And they didn't seem like they were locals. And the only thing I could remember is that they were just tripping out on some pot or something. 5C, yep. I'm gonna need the frickin' home button. Oh well, find a home button. Should have used this one. Ultrasonic if no signs of liquid. Yeah. Actually, the last option I was going to try is I'll put it into my pizza oven at 300 degrees Fahrenheit, Celsius, and see how that goes. They weren't from New York City. Yeah, they'd be a long way from home if they were. I think I picked up a bit of a dud screen here. Yeah, I'm not getting anything. Normally, as soon as I power up, typically I start seeing signs of activity on the Linux interface. Okay, I am officially sick of you. Get in there. Get in there. Damn camera. You can tell I'm getting impatient as I get tired. I mean, I should be happy. I fixed up that Sage touch issue the other day, which was not really all that difficult in the end. There really was a reflow bro job. Oh, okay, no, actually I had to reball it. You can just hide down there. No one's going to care about you. Where would you go in? What is the matter with you? Come on. By the way, Chris, this is your this is your acetone warped case. Yeah, truly a mess. Looks like it might have gone into DFU. Nope. It came back. Just gotta wait for it to cycle again. Thing is, Chris, it's not even like when you do that. Normally, the Linux system will show the USB device connect straight up. Like, even though it won't show what it is, it will indicate that there is something connected. This screen is the worst. Here's something I want to ask people about. Anyone seen people suggesting that you hold down the power button for 30 seconds or something like that to truly discharge the phones? Now, I don't know where that's sort of come from or why it persists. As far as I am aware, that does pretty much diddly squat because your power button is just a logic line. But I suppose maybe there's some truth in it for the fact that while you're pressing that, it does sometimes. Straight up. What have we got? It did. It's just looping now, looping hard, faster, and I'm still showing nothing. I'll try a different port. Who can I sacrifice? Oops. Yeah, some power buttons are analog, but that was like, but not on these devices. Time to clean the desktop at the end. I'd say, given the unpredictability of this particular fault, the oddity rather, that we probably do have a crack through something that's rather important. In which case, I guess we'll move on to another board one day. It's a bit of water damaged. This one looks like it's another one for me to keep, and I have no idea what's wrong with it. This one I know I've recovered. This one was a weird intermittent thing. I can't remember what was intermittent about it. And this one has no body. I mean, no board. Oh well. I suppose I could put the current meter on it and see what's going on. We've got a spare port somewhere. Yeah, the iPhone doing that fast replay is something I like to do a lot as well. Okay, we're going to darkness now. Alright. See what we get. 942.58. You guys see that? There you go, Chris, can you have a look at that? So it doesn't seem to be drawing too much or anything like that. That's behaving more like the battery isn't even connected. Could have been something that dumb all along. No, it can't be because we connected up to the DC power supply and we still had issues. The battery wasn't connected that time, so that was dumb. So this is why it's bad to do live videos at strange hours of the morning, because about the only thing you're achieving is comic effect for your audience. Ecstatic one does exist. What's it called? But it is out. There is one out. It's about $30-40 US, and it's got a full logging capability and data to the PC. So they do exist. They're on the cell phone discussion chat on Facebook at the moment. Justin from The Art of Repair has one. So if you chase him up, you'll find it. Yeah, that's not even a list. Jerry, I'll probably will just throw this in the bin. The donor parts bin, I think. Oh great, look at that, just fucked up that. Yeah, this is probably going to go just in the donor parts bin. I think it's worth stuffing around. The charge rate is perfectly normal. I should peel off this protective plastic. There you go. It's only been 5 or 6 years. So we're looking at so 800 milliamp hour, milliamp, 700. It is a little strange that it's jumping up and down though. But actually, ecstatic bass, this meter here does have a logging ability. You can see there's 4 pins down. No, you can't because my finger's in the frickin' way. Anyway, there's 4 pins here, and they're just a 9600 bit per second data serial output. And all it does is just send this stuff in serial. So I could just plug that into my PC, but now, once again, too lazy. So I think we'll have to just write this one off for tonight. Put it into the donor parts bin. And I think I'll work on one of the other ones that I'm fairly sure work, but just have some minor issues with them. Like this one here. I'll put a screen on this one and see what it does. Yeah, the current rate will change with the battery charge state, but what's troubling me is that it's changing too dramatically, in the sense of normally as the lithium charges, it's a fairly slow and steady reduction, but this is jumping up and down. So it could be that the battery itself is really bad in here, or something else. The other time where it can change is with display coming in and out. Anyway, like I said, this one can sit back burner. Yeah, right, that. Just going to see what this one does. I have a feeling this one boots normally, but then it has an intermittent issue that pops up every day or two. iP5S. And you're stuck at 61. It's interesting that it was only showing 60 milliamp draw. Could have sworn this one was a normal booter and just every now and then did strange things. It has been about a year now. So I've got a lot of these phones that have piled up over the last 5 years. Obviously most of the 4 and 4S's and even the 3GS's don't really get taken out of the box anymore. Okay, this one really does have a bit of a problem. 62 minus. That's a 50 milliamp draw one, so that's probably a rabbit hole to go to nowhere. I'll just mark that on the back so I don't come back to it and do the same thing again, wasting more time. You're off. You're off. Yeah, I think it's a wrap. A wrap for tonight. I just need to get a pen. Alright. Now, Jerry, they're good for learning what not to do, I think. Or at least you can sort of eliminate a few things. I do kind of wish I had a few more MacBooks come in, PC laptops, but PC laptops are pretty rare to get in. Mostly because people just don't want to pay the money, or a lot of the time with the PC laptops, if it's one of those sort of intermittent type issues, it ends up more often than not being something nasty like a PCH failure or GPU. So you're sort of doomed either way. Every now and then I'll get lucky and I will get a completely dead short board, and if I'm really, really lucky, it ends up being a 0805 10 microfarad 25 volt ceramic that's decided to blow its brains out, and they're easy to find on the board, quick to replace, and boom, got a nice $300. Turn off that, turn off the microscope light. Yeah, that's fine, we'll leave that there. Alright, well, thanks everyone for persisting. Sorry it didn't 2 hours, bit of a long one. I'm probably going to be in trouble now because it is 2:30 in the morning, but that's life. Anyway, I'll catch up with you guys later, and in the meantime, have a good one. Hope you guys have more successful repairs than I did today. I'll catch up with you later.